What up, everybody? Bob Hansen here from Elevated Prints 3D.
And Bill Clemmer.
And we're here to show you the world's easiest to use 3D printer. So if you want to stay on tuned and see if this truly is the world's easiest 3D printer to use, then stay on tuned. Looks like you wanted to see if this truly is the world's easiest to use 3D printer. So what is this printer, Bill?
Spoiler alert, the easiest to use 3D printer.
Yeah, there we go. This is the Mantis Verta by Mantis 3D Printing. It truly is a kind of totally different type of 3D printer, I would personally say. The thing that makes this 3D printer so different is, for one, it comes pre-built, and for two, you don't have to slice your file. They have done a whole thing on their back end that all you do is upload the STL to their server, and then you slice it, and then, or you don't even slice it actually, you just add the STL and then click print, and it pre-slices it for you, auto-orientates it for you, and then triple checks to make sure that it is 100% a solid print. So that means no gaps, no mis-extrusions, no anything like that. Now, with that, they do have a feature coming out soon that it will actually auto-add supports as well. So it'll detect a certain overhang and be like, oh look, this needs to be added to, supports need to be added to it. So it truly takes a lot of it out of it for you. So with this printer, it is slightly different than your average printer. We'll kind of jump into the specs of it. The build volume is 200 by 200 by 200, and definitely is about your average size. I mean, a little bit smaller than your Edna 3, but about the same print volume as a, Prusa Mini?
Prusa Mini, yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. With this printer, we received one, about 4 or 5 months ago?
Something like that, 3, 4 months, yeah.
And we had a lot of issues with it, not even gonna lie. But we talked to them about all their issues with it, and then boom, they sent us this new one, improved.
Yeah, and it was kind of more of a run. It was a beta run, really.
Yep, just to kind of get one of the printers out to somebody to see how it was working. And I gave them a lot of recommendations, Bill gave them a lot of recommendations, and when they sent us back this new printer, we were happy to say that their customer service was on point, and pretty much everything was fixed.
Yeah, and stay tuned, because we do have prints to show off that are from the first one that we got, and from the second one that we got. So you'll be able to see the difference there.
One of the biggest things that they improved was they no longer have a bed that's attached, they now have a flexible build plate.
Must have. Must have.
Must have. I will say they recommend that you print on the textured sheet versus the smooth sheet, and that is just because the textured sheet usually grips better.
It adheres a little better, yeah.
Yep, I have printed on both. I've got one print to successfully print on the smooth sheet, and then all the rest to successfully print on the textured sheet. I did run into a clogging issue because it just slid off of it, and then all of the print started globbing up, and it filled the print nozzle with filament, and I had to take it apart, which is why this is a different color gray than the rest, because we had to reprint the cooling module here because I accidentally melted it.
Which is fine, that happens. And luckily they were kind enough to give us the STL, so
that was really nice of him. And so we reprinted that in a nice PETG, so that way it would withstand a higher temperature from the nozzle being close to it.
And so far, so good.
Yeah, the cooling's really nice on it. It's got a dual chamber to go down with it, and it makes it so it's really simple to use, really easy to apply. I will say they do have a future version coming out where they're actually going to make it a quick attach. So you can just pop it off, change the nozzle, change the heater block, get a clog out if you have a clog, and then pop it right back on. Very simple. I don't know when that update's coming out, but I do know that it is coming out in the future, and I bet that if you bought a Mantis now and that wasn't part of it, that they would send you the files to print. That's just my best guess. I don't know for sure, but, hopefully they will. So let's kind of jump into some of the specs about this. We already said the size, 200 by 200 by 200. What else does this include, Bill?
It's got a dual gear extruder here on the back. This is where you feed the filament right up through the back here. It goes in through this
PTF tube.
Yep, the tube, and then right into the heat block there. So
yeah.
Filament sits on the back. There is a filament holder here on the back as well. Kind of hard to see from your vantage point, but that is where it goes. You got your power that comes through this hole here. This is all the power for your unit here.
And I will say with that real quick, I was worried that this was going to get caught on something and was going to pull the print around, but surprisingly enough, it slides through. You will hear like this little every once in a while when it's just moving, but that's just it moving. And they did put a little piece of printed film, like,
A little rubber grommet, it looks like.
so that way it slides smoother. But yes, please continue on to more specs.
Oh, yeah. It's got a really unique belt system to it. I really like it. I'm not going to pretend that I understand it 100%, but I will say it's very, very unique and very cool. I mean, you got a belt here, you got a belt here, and you got some belts here.
I almost think that it is one continuous
It might
belt.
be. Yeah, it very well might be one continuous belt, but the way that it's wrapped is certainly unique. I haven't quite seen one quite like it, although I would say maybe the Ender 5 is probably the closest I've seen.
Pretty close.
Pretty close. Definitely different, but close.
Yeah.
One thing I like about this machine is that it comes with everything already. Like, it's pre-built, ready to go when you get it. It comes with your Pi, which is right here in the corner. It's got a USB module there that attaches to your Wi-Fi, so you can just seamlessly transfer files back and forth from the machine to your PC, PC to machine. It's got an Octoprint camera right here, so that records and takes snapshots, all that good stuff that you want to have when you're printing. Trying to think of anything else. It's got
Purge bucket.
Purge bucket, which is actually super cool and unique because I haven't seen another printer with it. I think Bob's seen a couple, but I have not seen another printer with it. So that was very unique for me to see that and have it programmed in to purge into that Purge bucket. Pretty neat stuff.
And what's the point of the Purge bucket?
Well, it just gets the, well, what is the point of the Purge bucket?
The point of the Purge bucket is to, when it begins the print, it is going to purge a little bit of filament out of it, so that way you have a nice clean start for your filament. And the reason that you would want that is it just makes it so you don't have any excess that's going to be going onto your build plate that your nozzle might catch on and rip your print off. And the nice feature that it has is what it goes on is when it starts the print, it's going to purge it out, and then when it ends the print, it's also going to purge, but it's also going to pull your filament out a little bit of the nozzle as well, so that way you're not having a little glunk of filament stuck in your nozzle while it's cooling, and you have a higher chance of it clogging that way. So they're really trying to mitigate the chance of your print failing.
Plus, it helps with the Octo camera, because then, you know, when it comes, as it goes back, it'll purge itself and then come back and take a picture too. So that's it helps with all of that. So.
And another fun feature, another reason they included the Octopi camera is because they have partnered with spaghetti detection. Now, that doesn't mean that their camera is just going to tell you when your spaghetti is ready in your kitchen. It's actually going to mean that your print is going to be like, oh, hey, look, there's spaghetti all over your print. Do you want to stop this? And so what it's doing is it's running an algorithm the whole entire time, watching it, saying, okay, look, it's got these solid lines. Oh, look at this little piece of filament that's now sticking out odd because maybe your print got adhered to the bed. And now it sees that you've got these random little strands and it's looking at it and it's detecting it. So you're going to get a notification. If you set it up properly, you can get a notification on your phone. You can get a notification on your PC. You'll just get a notification saying, hey, we've detected spaghetti. Would you like to pause your print? And you can say yes or no, which is a really nice feature because, like I said, this is trying to be the world's easiest to use 3D printer.
Right. And if you're really hungry, you can just say no and let it continue printing your spaghetti so you can eat afterwards. But, you know.
We don't recommend eating the spaghetti that it makes. But if you want to, your decision. This is America.
This is America. What you want to do. We don't judge. We don't judge.
But yes, so it's really dope that they partnered with them. Another thing that is included in the box that we don't have here because I ate it was some Mike and Ike's. They've also partnered with Mike and Ike's, and you do get a little piece of candy. Well, not like one Mike and Ike. You get a nice little box, so you get at least 10, I think.
Probably.
Probably.
We didn't count. We just ate it.
Yes. But yeah, so this printer's got a lot of features that you would want to add to a printer that you bought already.
Yep.
So, like we said, it's got the Octopi camera, the spaghetti detection, the dual-geared extruder, the flexible build plate, the purge nozzle. They've just taken out a lot of the hassle.
They have.
That's why they're trying to make this the world's easiest to use 3D printer.
Yep. It's all in one. It's a full, seamless, you know, it's a perfect example of what you want in a 3D printer.
It really is, and plus the whole back end of it. It's just completely different than any other 3D printer that you have. You don't have to go through the process of slicing it. You just upload that STL file, and it's going to tell you if it's too big. If it's too big, then you will need to go and slice it on your own profile, which you can. You can slice it on your own profile, make a profile for it. I'm sure that if you were struggling on making a profile, since their customer service is so great, you could reach out to them and say, hey, I'm having a little bit of issues here when I'm developing this profile for this printer. Could you help me on X, Y, and Z? And I'm sure they would be super happy to help you with X, Y, and Z to make it so your printer profile is fantastic.
Of course they can say is no. I mean,
yeah, and then you just go on YouTube and watch a video like you're watching now.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it also does include this fancy little toolkit. We've got 3 Allen keys, and then 2 screwdrivers, a flathead, and a Phillips. It is super nice and convenient that they include it in a nice little box. We just always keep ours right here, nice and handy, ready to go. We've noticed that it doesn't ever go far enough down that will
not yet
mess
anyway.
with the print. Yeah, I think they printed Max Z. I don't think anything like that's
Yeah, I think
happened.
we're good. Yeah.
But if we want to, let's show a little comparison of the first printer we received versus the second printer we received. So these purple prints are prints that we printed on the first machine that we got, and we were worried.
Yeah, we were a little worried.
We were worried that the quality of every print was going to come out like this, and we were like, man, what?
As you can see, you can really detect those layer lines in here. They're actually gapped pretty substantially. I mean, you can really see them. Furthermore, I think there was a partial clog in this while it was printing. It looks pretty shoddy. But, you know, this happens. This happens sometimes.
Yeah, I've seen that happen on Ender 3.
Yeah, it's happened
on
pretty much
Ks.
everywhere. But then we printed another one, Swole Pikachu.
Swole.
You can really see the layer lines on the pectoral muscles there of Swole Pikachu. Here's the problem that we're running into with this is that you can see that the overhangs are having incredible difficulty. A lot of difficulty. It's actually, you know, I will say this. It's kind of impressive that without supports, it did print this well. I think that this problem that you're seeing with overhangs is going to be completely resolved once they implement their support feature. I don't think you're going to see this problem anymore. I think that's going to be gone, and you're going to be super happy with how it prints. So, but this is the first printer that printed these. As you can see, there are some defects.
Now check out that chompy dough.
But this looks great. It works. It functions perfectly. Everything's exactly how it should be. The tolerance of this printer is wonderful. You can really just, I mean, if everything works how it's supposed to, that's what you want. And that's what's going on here. We've tried this print on multiple printers, Prusas, Enders, FL Suns.
So many.
You name it, we've probably tried it on that printer. And honestly, this printer has done the best on this so far. So it's awesome to me. That's great. That shows that they've done something right.
It's spectacular. And then we'll just kind of jump in. We're not going to go through all of the prints because we got quite a few prints here. Another one that's going to show your tolerance is this little guy here. It's a printed all in one place. It prints flat on the bed. Bill's going to show that to the other angle. It's a really fun print. It's a fun little doohickey that you can play with, or, you know, if instead of having a fidget spinner, you can print that. Really easy to print. I believe it's another clock spring print, just like the Chompy.
Cool movement. Cool movement on that one.
The next one we're going to show you is this Torture Toast. It's really cool because it actually detects a lot of things that your printer could be working on. So it tests your tolerance, it tests all of that fun stuff. The toast pops up and down. Technically, both toasts are supposed to pop up and down.
You can kind of see there that is working just fine. It locks in place how it should, which is great. Those are working. This is working great. Fantastic.
Make sure you show the overhang on the inside.
Yep, absolutely. Right here you can see.
That is what impresses me the most with this 3D printer, because you're getting that 80-degree overhang and it's still printing. And now what that is showing is that this dual cooling from each side is working spectacular. The way
Pretty
that
good.
have
I mean,
the
you
fan
can
placement.
really just right here is the only spot.
And that's hard. I mean, you're talking about printing something that's at an angle like that.
Yeah.
Whereas most printers will only do about a 45-degree angle.
Toast works on one side, not on the other.
Bob broke the other
one. Bob broke the other one. But that's okay. That happens all the time, you guys. And that's fine. You just print it again.
Print it again. That's the motto. And then we'll jump into whichever one you want to show next, and then we'll talk about these two.
I really like this one. This one's really neat. We printed this before on different printers.
Yep.
And I will say that this one turned out the best.
Fantastic.
Yeah, the best. Worked really great. It's all nice and flexible. Has some good movement on the top of the table there. Pretty interesting little table.
Yeah, it's really cool. And every single one of those pieces is technically not individually printed, but printed cohesively together. So that way they can move, and it's still technically. If you broke it apart, you would see that they're all individual pieces, and they have little knobs that connect together.
Yep.
I don't know. It's really cool. If you looked at it in the slicer, you'd be able to see how the pieces are actually not touching at all. But yet they're still together.
Little crabby.
Little crabby.
We've done this guy before too, in a little bit bigger and different color. I think we've shown that off in other videos. Perhaps not. If I haven't, then I'll definitely grab one at some point and show you guys. But these are really fun little neat critters. Who did this again?
That's MacGyver.
MacGyver. Awesome stuff, MacGyver. You do good work.
He does. Yeah, pretty much all these are clock spring and MacGyver prints.
Yep. Really neat little tool right here, little pliers.
And I actually use that to get the SD card out of my GoPro all the time.
Hey,
It's
so there you
functional.
go. It's functional. It's practical. One thing I will say about the printer. There's one thing I will say. It is kind of a negative. Sorry about that, but we need to talk about those things too. It's going to be this little gap here. These gaps that you see on the edge here. You can see there is some on this as well. I'll show you that. Oops, sorry.
And that could be from a couple
Right
different
on the
things.
bottom
It
there.
could be from under extruding. It could be from a partial clog. It could be from maybe the filament isn't gripping properly on the back. So there's a couple things that could be dived in there. It's not the biggest issue, but it definitely is something that should be addressed.
Yes, because I don't like it.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's great.
And now I think one of our... Oh, that's the first print that comes on the build plate.
Really neat Dragonfly. It actually, it's super awesome. It works perfectly how you want it to. It moves how you want it to. The wings are strong. They don't break off when you pull on them. It's really a fantastic print. I love this little print.
It truly is.
And look at the underside of it. Look how smooth and beautiful that is.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Beautiful stuff.
And let's talk about these guys right here. Here, sir.
Oh, yes.
Choose your weapon. 1, 2, 3. Hi-ya! Check these out. This is pretty dope, not gonna lie. A couple of you guys have pretty definitely printed these. Ah! And with Halloween coming up, they are a fantastic print to print for your kids. You know, they're not a sharp edge or anything like that. They're just a collapsible sword. And the dopest thing about this is your printer has to have great tolerance, and not only great tolerance, but fantastic bed adhesion.
Yes.
Because you have such small parts. The parts that print, like the blade parts,
Thin.
you're talking like 2 layers touching the bottom. That's it. Just 2. And that's extremely difficult for a printer to adhere to. And we didn't add any Magic Goo. We didn't add any nanopolymer adhesion. We didn't add anything. We just solely printed it on the build plate. So they chose an excellent build plate for this printer.
I tried a very similar print on my Prusa. It was a samurai sword, actually. And I was so excited about it. Like when it was done, it was just sitting there like this. And I was like, oh yeah, it's all done. And I pulled it off. And all this just flew out. And it didn't work at all. I was holding a hilt. And that was it.
And you can't do any damage with just a hilt.
I mean,
the whole
maybe if
thing.
you threw it really hard at him, but then you don't have a weapon anymore. So
they got the weapon now.
They have it. Yeah. So really, that's not a good idea. You want it to be functional. You want it to be a good dagger, a good sword.
Yep.
And that's what you get. That's what you get with this printer.
You get some great quality prints. All in all, definitely like the printer. Let's dive into the price point real quick.
Yeah.
As one of our last little talking points.
Absolutely.
So, I guess we should jump into the price point now of this printer.
Don't let it scare you.
Don't let it scare you. Okay. Are you ready? The price point is $999. Oh! Now, that seems like a lot.
Seems like a lot.
But let's remember what this does for you. You get a hassle-free printing experience. You get a Pi. You get a Pi camera. You get a printer that's built in the USA, so you're supporting a local US company. And you're getting a printer that's just going to work out of the box.
Right.
And that's solid.
Yep.
The owners actually stood on top of this while it's printing, and it had no problem. They printed with it upside down and had no problems. This thing is just ready to go to war for you.
Yeah, and honestly, if you think about it from a long run or from a parenting perspective, right? I have children. They're interested in 3D printing. They want to learn about it. They want to know about it. Yeah. Some of these machines, a little difficult for a 5, 9-year-old to run.
Yes.
Maybe even a little dangerous without supervision. So what I will say about this printer, one thing that I love about this printer, is that I am confident that my 9-year-old could walk out here, get on that computer, pick an STL, send it, and have it print.
Yep.
Plain and simple. She can walk in here and get it done. It's very, very intuitive, very easy to use, and I think that kids everywhere are going to love this machine. They're going to love it because they can print everything they want to print, from video game characters to,
Pokemon characters, video game characters.
Game Boy holders, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Like, it's just wonderful, wonderful printer.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely more their target market is
educational
the educational
purposes,
system.
all that kind of stuff. Man, it's
Younger
going to
people.
soar in that environment. It will soar in that environment.
Yeah.
So
I genuinely think it's a dope little printer. Oh, I forgot to say it does have an LED light.
Oh,
up
yes.
At the top. Yes, so you can have some light on your on your prints.
Are they RGB?
No, I believe they are just white.
Well,
LED.
we all know that if you get the RGB upgrade for this, it will print faster. So
Because blue prints faster for some reason.
That's right. Just kidding. Just kidding. It won't print fast.
Well, let's just get our last little comments in about this fantastic little green machine.
Green machine.
I really enjoy it. I've had a lot of fun. Thank you to Mantis for sending it to us for
Yes.
the purpose of reviewing. They did not tell us what to say, and they did not tell us what we couldn't say. They fully left it up to us to talk about this
So hopefully
printer.
they don't hate us after this review.
I don't think so.
No,
They
it's
have a great
machine.
printer.
It's a great machine.
And so again, thank you. I don't have too much more to say besides I really enjoy using it.
Yeah, and I'm going to continue to use it.
Yeah.
And I think my kids will continue to use it, and we're going to have a great time with it.
Yeah.
We'll probably fire up some prints on it for you guys. Maybe even
Instagram.
do some of the Octa camera just to show you guys how that
time
works.
lapse.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. So stay tuned for that kind of stuff because we'll be posting that to the Insta.
And if you're not already following us on Instagram, check us out at Elevated Prints 3D. That will be somewhere on the screen. Maybe there. Maybe I'll put it there.
Yeah, we're here.
Oh, that would be a good spot too. And if you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Pause the video, or not, we'll pause for you real quick. That should have been enough time.
That's enough time.
Oh, perfect. Alrighty, give this video a like and share with your friends and family. Don't forget to comment in the section below. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, what you want to see us do more. If you want to see us talk faster, if you want to see us talk slower. What do you want to
Louder.
see? Louder, quieter, I don't know. Whatever you guys want. Keep
Higher
being...
pitched voice. Lower pitched voice.
You could also do an
What you want?
Australian accent if you want it as well.
Maybe.
So again, thank you so much for checking out this review on the Mantis 3D printer. My name is Bob Hansen.
I'm Bill Clemmer.
Keep it groovy. See you next time.
Love you guys.
Peace.